today. I'm starting with a quote from Gary Keller's book, Shift, and I'm in the foreword. And for those of you who've been working with me for a while, you know my favorite part of that book is the foreword. And so many people, when reading a book, they skip past the foreword and they go right to chapter 1. Completely off subject, but let me change your paradigm a little bit here, everybody. When you're reading a book, the goal is not to finish the book and then put a check mark next to it, put it on your bookshelf, and then say, wow, look at me, I'm awesome. I've read 10 books so far this year. No, that's not your goal. Your goal is to suck the marrow out of the bone. It's to get every single possible word of wisdom that you can get from that book. And sometimes we skip over the very best parts of a book because we don't think they're important. All right. Forward, page 24, and these are in Roman numeral numbers. The reasons for wanting success may vary. The most successful people tend to be doing the same things. The most successful people tend to be doing the same things. Boy, please write that down. Tony Robbins teaches success leaves clues. Modeling is the pathway to success. So I'm really paying attention to people who are succeeding at something that I want to be successful at, and I want to know, what are they doing? What can I model? What kind of clues can I find here? Gather together a great number of successful real estate agents and ask them how they do, what they do, and you'll hear very similar strategies and tactics. You get together 100 successful real estate agents in a room, and you go through the room and you ask them, how did you get where you are? And you're going to hear a lot of different answers. You're going to hear some different strategies, but for the most part, they're all saying the same thing. If they are working from a database focused business on repeat and referral business, they're saying the same thing as the person who says, well, I prospect for sell by owners and expireds. They have the same systems. It boils down to conversations and follow-up. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. All right, I have 3 major points for you. Here they go. The purpose of the call is to get the appointment. The purpose of the call is to get the appointment. This goes back to a coaching conversation I was having with Victoria a couple of days ago. You know, she called an expired listing, I think it might have been the first time, and she said she was so excited she got the appointment, and she asked me one of the most common questions I get, which is, now what? Now what? I've got this appointment, now what? Okay, cool. We're going to answer that question today. The purpose of the call is to get the appointment. The purpose of the appointment is to set the stage for follow-up. Well, there's a paradigm shift, because a lot of you have been thinking the purpose of the appointment is to get a listing. No, the purpose of the appointment is to set the stage for follow-up. And then my last point today is success is in the follow-up. All right, so you're on the phone, you're making calls, you're calling for sell by owners, you're calling expired listings, and I'm just going to keep focusing on expired listings right now. Side note, bunny trail, here we go. If you look at your local MLS, there are a lot of expired listings right now. That is going to be a common theme through all of 2023. How do I know that? Because history repeats itself. And when the market shifts and we go into more of a buyer's market than a seller's market, we're going to see more seller listings expire. Back in 2007 and 8, on average, it took a seller 3 times to list their home before it sold. On average, 3 times before it sold. So the first time, didn't sell. Second time, didn't sell. Third time, it sold. Am I saying the same thing's going to happen again? No, I'm not. But if it does, what's your strategy? I'm going to really focus on expired listings because there's a ton of opportunity there for us right now. So the purpose of the call is to get an appointment. Hey, Justin, John Dietz, I noticed your listing came off the market. Just curious, if I had a full price offer today, would you want me to bring you the offer? Now, Justin can say a ton of different things. And no matter what he says, my goal is to do what? It's to get the appointment. So I hear I've changed my mind. Well, here's what I know about I changed my mind. No, you didn't. All right. I changed my mind is just another way of getting rid of you, pushy realtor, because you're trying to list their house. And this is their strategy in order to get rid of you. Remember, I've told you this many times before, sellers go to script school too. That was really weird. You guys are all still here. Boy, I'm happy about that. Wow. Okay, so sellers go to script school too. Now, they don't get together every morning on Zoom and they don't have conversations like this and say, okay, guys, what are we going to say when those real estate agents call us? No, they don't. But they go to script school too. The good news for you is they only have a few. And one of those is I've decided not to sell my home. All right, here's what I know. They had their home on the market for a reason. All right. Don't give up when you hear, I decided not to sell my home. I have two different possible questions I'm going to ask them. One, Sarah, if your home would have sold, just out of curiosity, where were you moving? Now, you're usually going to get an answer to that question. And your response should be, what's important to you about moving to blank? And here's what I know. I know that most homeowners that have a property that came off the market like yours still want to sell their home. What you don't want to do is you don't want to list your house. And you're getting lots of real estate agents who are calling like me. And they're all trying to list your home, aren't they? And what you've done, imagine you're playing tennis against somebody and you're on one side of the net, they're on the other side of the net. You're competing. What you've done is you've gone around to the other side of the net and now you're on the same side as they are and you're playing doubles against all the other real estate agents. Now I'm on your side. We're partners. It's me and you against all of the other real estate agents. And here's what I know. You've got a lot of real estate agents who are calling you who want to list your home. And I promise you, I don't. I want to sell your home. Matter of fact, here's my promise. I'll never ask you to list your house. I simply want to come see your home so I could potentially bring you an offer. Now, Beth, if you knew I was the right agent for the job and you knew that by allowing me to come see your home, it would sell and you would be in Tampa in 60 days like you want to be, you would want me to come see your home, wouldn't you? You just don't want to list it. So I promise I'm never going to ask you. Now, some of you are wondering, well, John, how does that work? Remember, the purpose of the appointment is to set the stage for follow-up. Now, I'm going to get to how does that work when I get to follow-up. All right, so you've got the appointment. Nobody else did, but you did because you know the response to the script you heard from the seller. Remember, in every conversation, somebody outscripts somebody. Either the seller is going to outscript you or you're going to outscript the seller. It's your job to outscript the seller. And you're going to hear when you go, I said no to everybody else, but I said yes to you. I don't know why, but here you are. All right, now you've got the appointment. They've got 3 questions about you. Please write it down. Can I trust you? Do you care about me? Do you know what you're doing? Your job on this appointment is to convey, I care about you, you can trust me, and I know what I'm doing. Now, how am I going to accomplish that? First of all, I'm going to dress professional. I have 10 seconds to make a great first impression. It's my Kodak moment. When they open that door, I'm there with a big smile on my face. I'm dressed professional. Hey, Sarah, John Dietz with XYZ Real Estate Company. We had an appointment at 4 p.m. and it's 4 p.m. I'm super excited. Hey, Sarah, John Dietz, XYZ Real Estate Company. We had an appointment at 4 p.m. and it's 4 p.m. May I come in? No, go away, you weirdo. Be excited. You're excited to be there. You're going to sell this house. Now, the moment you walk in the door, you're interviewing for the job. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Would you like me to take off my shoes before I go any further? Be professional. Be different. Now, Beth, what I would love for you to do is give me a tour of your home. And give me a tour of your home like you would if I were a buyer. And what I want you to do is I want you to point out everything that you love about your home. I want you to point out the improvements that you've made. And also talk to me about what you would do if you weren't selling. In other words, what improvements would you make next? Now, as we go through your home, I'm going to take a lot of notes. I'm writing everything down. I'm going to ask some questions because this is the information I'm going to use to help you sell your home. Now, as we're touring their home, I'm asking great questions. Do you care about me? Can I trust you? Well, if I'm not asking any questions about their house, why am I there? To get their listing, and they know that. So the answer to, do you care about me, is no. Can I trust you? It's no. Because you said you're coming over to take a look at my home for a potential buyer, and you're not even taking any notes. So you're a liar. You're here to take my listing. I can't trust you. You don't care about me. All right. I'm taking notes. I'm asking questions. Also, I like their home. This is not an opportunity for you to go around and start staging the house and tell them everything that's wrong with their house. Your job is to like their home, ask a lot of questions, take a lot of notes. You're connecting with people. You're just people helping people. You're there to set the stage for follow-up. And when you meet at the front door, before you leave, the exit conversation is critically important. We're going to stay with the theme of an expired listing. And Annie, before I leave, I'd like to ask you just one question. Would that be okay? Of course, Annie is going to say, sure, John, go ahead. So in my experience, most homeowners who had a property that didn't sell that should have, like yours, have a game plan for how long before they put their home back on the market again. Just out of curiosity, what's your game plan? You're going to get an answer. Now, for those of you who are thinking, wait a minute, John, you're trying to get the listing, slow down and listen. Now, my goal between now and 30 days from now, my goal between now and 60 days from now, whatever they told me, I'm going to 2 weeks, 30 days, 90 days, 6 months, whatever it is. My goal between now and 6 months from now is to find a buyer and help you sell your home. And I call anywhere from 40 to 60 potential buyers every day. And one of the questions that I always ask them is the same question I asked you when I had you on the phone, which is, if your home would have sold, where are you moving? Or if they're for sale by owner, for example, if your home sells, where are you moving? Or if it's just somebody in my database, if you sold your home and moved, where are you moving to? Tell me what your next home looks like. What are you looking for? What's your dream home look like? Are you currently living in your dream home? And if you're not, what does it look like? I'm having conversations with people who are going to tell me, John, here's what my next home looks like. And guess what, Sarah? They just described your home. So what happened? I found a buyer that could potentially be a buyer for your home. Now I'm going to call you and I'm going to say, hey, Sarah, it's John Dietz, following up as promised. I talked to somebody that I think may be a potential buyer for your house, and I'd love to schedule some time to come over and show them your home. And am I okay with that as a real estate agent? 100%. I want to sell their house. I make more money if I sell their house than if they hire me to list it. Why wouldn't I want to sell their house? All right. Now, before you leave, I want you to tell them that you're good at follow-up. I want you to tell them that you're persistent. I want you to tell them that you are super persistent, but not pushy, and that you will stay in touch with them. You know, Justin, before I leave, just real quick, I'm really good at follow-up. I'm super persistent and I'm not pushy, which means I will stay in touch with you. All right, so you got the appointment, you went on the appointment, you set the stage for follow-up. Now, week 1, I'm going to call Justin. Hey, Justin, John Dietz, XYZ Real Estate Company, following up as promised. I just wanted to thank you for meeting with me. You have an absolutely beautiful home, And I wanted to ask, do you have any questions for me that I can help you with today? That's it. There's your script. It's being recorded. Go back and write it down. Thank you for meeting with me. It was a pleasure meeting with you. And I'm just checking in to see if you have any questions for me. Week 1, that's it. Following week. Hey, Sarah, John Dietz again, following up as promised. Just checking in to see how you are. And is there anything I can do for you today? Week 3, hey, Annie, John Dietz. XYZ Real Estate Company, following up as promised. I sent you a market update last week via email. I just wanted to check in and see if you got that and see if you have any questions for me. Week 4, hey, Terry, John Dietz, XYZ Real Estate Company, following up as promised. I sent you a supply and demand analysis for properties that are in your price range and in your location last week. And I'm just checking in to see if you got that and if you have any questions for me. All right, 4 weeks, I've called once a week. Now we're into month 2. I'm gonna keep calling, except now I'm down to once every other week. And by the time we get to month 3, I'm now calling once a month. Now, once you're in month 3 and you're calling once a month, the call is always the same. Sarah, John Dietz, following up as promised, just checking in, want to see how you are, and is there anything I can do for you today? Now, I'm looking for opportunity. You're going to hear opportunity. The moment you hear frustration, it's opportunity. The moment someone says, what's the market like? Opportunity. You know, it sounds like you might be thinking that now is the right time to put your home on the market. That's my answer to what does the market look like, by the way. It sounds like you might be thinking it's the right time to get your home on the market. How about we do this? I can come over tomorrow. We'll go over an updated market analysis so I can answer that question for you. And while I'm there, I can show you what I can do to get your home sold for the most money in the least amount of time. But it'd be worth 30 minutes of your time to do that. All right, recap. The purpose of the call is to get the appointment. The purpose of the appointment is to set the stage for follow-up. And number 3, success is in the follow-up. Agents who fail are agents who don't follow up. Agents who fail are agents who follow up for a while and then they stop. Agents who fail are agents who judge away opportunity. You're going to hear a lot of noise. And a lot of that noise is going to sound like, I'm never going to list my home. You're wasting your time. And I want you to hear it's just noise. Keep calling. Remember that people will never change their mind. Hey, I changed my mind. Come list my house. No, that will never happen. But they will make a new decision based on new information. You're creating emotional proximity, which simply means when I get serious about selling my home, if Annie is still calling me, she wins simply because she created emotional proximity. It's just that simple. Oh, by the way, I'll never ask you to list your home. So if I promise somebody I'm never going to ask to list their home, I'm never going to ask them, but they're going to ask me. And when somebody says, what's the market like? I'm going to remind Justin, okay, so Justin, remember I promised I would never ask you to list your home, but I'm going to answer that question for you. The market's still good. There's still a lot of homes selling. And if you want to take a look at an updated market analysis so I can give you an answer to that question, it would be my pleasure to meet with you tomorrow. Now, at some point, maybe it's in that meeting tomorrow, by the way, Justin's going to ask, what would you do to sell my home? So just reminding you again, I promise never to ask for your business, but you're asking me. So is it okay if I ask? It's going to go, yeah, go ahead. I know. All right. Raise your hands, take yourself off mute, talk to me. Elena, I agree. Emotional proximity is critically important. You know, so many people in sales, if they got this, they would sell more homes and sell more real estate. They'd sell more cars. They sell more clothes. They sell more insurance. It's such a simple fact that most people just don't get. All right, Kiara, did I pronounce it correct?
Yes, you did. Sorry, I can't show my face right now. But my question is, when they asked you how's the market like, you asked, it sounds like you're ready to list your home.
Mhm.
So what if they respond, not quite, just asking? Like, how do you respond to that?
Apologize. Just apologize. Just, in other words, oh, Kiara, I'm sorry. I'm super aggressive. I apologize for that. By the way, hey, Kiara, if you were to hire a professional like me, you'd want to hire an aggressive agent, wouldn't you? So what I'd love to do for you is we can still get together and look at an updated market analysis so I can give you a really good answer to that question. And simply taking a look at the market. I can meet with you tomorrow at 4. Would 5 be better for you?
Okay, perfect.
All right. Now, Kiara, let me give you some bonus material on that. If they said, well, you're a real estate agent, can't you just tell me? So, Kiara, if you called the doctor and said, my arm hurts, what would the doctor say?
You have to come in for an appointment so I can look at it.
But you're a doctor. Can't you just answer that question? There you go.
Thank you.
That helped. All right. Guys, I'm going to save the chat. For those of you who are dropping your emails, thank you for that. I will save the chat. I will send you information today on how you can join Rainmaker Plus. We'd love to have you in that group. Terry White, it's great having you here. And shout out to Justin as well for inviting you. Justin, thank you for doing that. You know, it's interesting. It's a butterfly effect. And Justin, a simple thing like inviting a friend to this call could make a change in that person's life that changes their career path forever, that impacts their life, their children, children of their children, children of their children's children. And I'm not saying this is the most amazing call because that's not my point. My point is Terry could just get the information that Terry needs in order to have a major breakthrough. And that happens simply because you invited him to the call. Thank you for doing that.
Super worthwhile. Thank you.
Oh yeah, it's my pleasure. If you guys can't tell, I love what I do. This is my passion. Going back to what Carissa said earlier, if you read my Facebook post, guys, you know that it took a major leap of faith for me to let go of that rope that I was hanging on to out of fear in order to go all in with being a trainer and coach. And I'm glad I did. It hasn't been easy, but I am so glad I did. And I'm having a ton of fun, if you guys can't tell. All right. Make it a great day, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow morning, 8:30.
Thank you.
My pleasure.